Welcome to the Best of the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration attorney, and we're happy to welcome you. And we want to say thank you to everyone who supports us on all our platforms, especially those who write to us on social media, follow us, and share their immigration stories with us. We're grateful to the community that we have built together and it has inspired us to create this podcast. We hope you enjoy it.
Good morning, Jim. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm okay, but I'll get over it. I've got a question. I am going back to the Philippines. My fiance and I have been together since the 7th of 23. Made 2 trips this last year to the Philippines. I'm going back the 25th of this month. We're getting married in February, and I'm coming back, and we're going to file her spousal visa. And I'm looking for attorneys to do this for me. If you were in my shoes, didn't know anything about it, and looking for attorneys, what questions would you be asking immigration attorneys to find out if they're qualified? Because I'm finding thousands across the United States.
Well, what is the people that you've seen so far that you didn't like? What disqualified them for you?
The amount of money that they're charging and their particular knowledge on the country that I'm dealing with.
Well, you know that the Philippines, the consulate's like one of the slowest ones of all, right?
Yes.
Is there an age gap?
Yes, there is. I'm 56. She's 31.
Okay, that's not terrible.
Not as bad, but yes.
How about prior marriages?
2, and I do have both my divorce. I got all of my paperwork in line already.
Did either of those divorces involve someone getting an immigration benefit?
No.
So this is the first time you've had an overseas one?
Correct.
Okay. So I love this question. As an immigration attorney, I love this question, and this is going to be fun for me. So what would I look for in an immigration attorney? This is so great. Okay. Number 1, I would want to make sure that they're a member of the American Immigration Lawyers Association. I think that's almost like a disqualifier. If they're not a member of AILA, they are probably not keeping up to, not for sure. There's some people that have a moral objection to the American immigration. Some lawyers that hate AILA. But other than that, that's something that I think is important, because that's how someone asked me earlier, how do I keep up on things? That's how I keep up on things. Number two is do they do anything? I think this might even be number 1. Do they do anything other than immigration? Right? Like the ones that worry me are, I do immigration, I do car accidents, I do wills, I do
right.
To me, that's a disqualifier. Then I would say number 3, how many I-130s with USCIS have you handled? Like, what's your procedures? How do you know, Mr. or Mrs. Lawyer, how to put a case together? Like, what's the format?
Yes.
Do you feel like you have those qualifications? Then are you experienced in dealing with the National Visa Center, which is the next stage? Because some people really F up cases at the National Visa Center. And then the last one would be, how, like you said, how familiar are you? How many cases have you handled with the embassy in Manila? And what's your experience been? What should I expect? What are processing times look like? Those kinds of things. What can I do to make our case stronger? Then with the age gap, I would spend some time asking them, well, how do you handle age gap cases? And what are you going to do to prepare my future wife for her embassy interview? And then my last question to you is, what do you think is a lot of money for having a lawyer help you through all those processes for the next 2.5 years?
Well, I think it's going to be more of a 5-year process to finish everything out. That's if I stay. I mean, I'm so aggravated with the U.S. government right now. I'm ready to take my ball and my money and just go to the Philippines and live there forever, because I don't care about getting her green card. She doesn't care about it either. I would like for her to be able to come here, travel the United States with me. I'm an over-the-road truck driver, so I've sold my house and everything else. She just wants to be able to travel with me here. And when we go, I want to be able to spend 2 or 3 months in other countries. So I would like for her to be able to get her American passport to where that would free us up to go to other countries to visit for periods of time.
I think it's worthwhile. I know you're frustrated with the government, and I know this particular process is going to piss you off for a really long time because it's so maddening. But I do think at the end of the day, if you can get her here, get her green card, and then 3 years later she gets her citizenship, then you guys can go live in the
Yes.
Philippines or wherever you want. I would
Yeah.
strongly encourage you, especially with you having been here for so long. I wouldn't want you to go to the Philippines now and sort of, let's say we're talking 3 years from now and you've just been living in the Philippines, because I get this
Hmm.
call all the time. Hey,
Yeah.
Jim, I have been waiting. I've been hanging out here in the Philippines for the last 3 years. I haven't been back to America because the government's pissing me off. And I quit my job. I sold everything. I have no real ties to the United States anymore. I want to bring my spouse now and get him a green card. That can slow things down in and of itself, because you yourself, the U.S. citizen, haven't been residing here. So then they
Yeah.
say, hey, why should we give your spouse a green card if you don't even reside here?
Okay, I understand. And I do have, the only ties that I have here now is my work, and I've got a house for sale that I built 2 years ago. I'm never there, so I put it back on the market. I don't need it. I don't ever go there, so I just have a couple $100,000 sitting there that I don't need it there. I'll put that in my options. I do options trading as well with my money that I do make, so I don't need that. And are they
Well,
gonna,
then
the
I
USCI? They're
I would
gonna look at that?
I would just make a plug then to take a little bit of that money and pay a lawyer who knows what they're doing. To me, I
Yeah,
wouldn't get too wrapped up in the exact cost. To me, it's like, do I want to handle all this shit myself for the next
I'm not.
3 years?
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
I'm
we'd be
not.
happy to help you.
Okay, I appreciate your call, and I've got that all wrote down, and I'll
That
be
was a
in
great
touch with you.
call.
Thanks,
Thanks,
sir.
Ed. See you, buddy.
Have,
That was great. That was one of my favorite calls in a long time. Hannah. Hello, Hannah.
Hello, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Okay, so I'm actually with my husband now. So I wrote out everything I wanted to say just so I make sure everything is said properly.
I think that's a great
So,
idea.
okay. So I'm a US citizen and I'm currently living in Oman with my husband. He's Omani. Um, we've been married for a year and a half. I graduated high school at 17 and I started college at 17 as well. And when I met him, he was on an F1 visa doing an international student. And we got married in Washington, D.C. when I was 17. I'm now 18. And at the time, my husband was receiving treatment because he had ulcerative colitis. Um, and then, so after we got married, we moved to Oman, thinking that the medical care here they would be able to treat him. So in the U.S., they had the correct treatment for him, but here they don't have the proper treatment. So we want to move back to America. And there's more job opportunities in America as well. But in May, I want to visit my family, so May through July. And my husband also wants to attend his college graduation. So we want to do that on a tourist visa, not a green card. And okay, so my first question is, could my age, like at the time of our marriage, be an issue since I was 17?
Was a marriage legal in Washington, D.C. for a 17-year-old?
Yeah, I think it was for 16 and up.
How old are you now?
I'm 18.
How old is he?
24.
I think the first question you want to ask me is, Jim, what are the chances of
Yeah.
my husband getting a visit visa to the United States? I think those chances are relatively low. I don't think they're going to want to give him a visit visa because he came on a student visa and married someone and is now married to a U.S. citizen. So when you're married to a U.S. citizen and you complete a DS-160 and you say that you're married to a U.S. citizen and that she's living with you in Oman, all of which you'd have to disclose because they'd want to know your address and his marriage status and all that stuff, I think the chances of him getting a visit visa to the United States are extremely low.
Is that because are they assuming he's gonna have like immigrant intent or something?
Exactly why.
Okay. So, well, we want to go like move in maybe 2026.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to visit my family in May through July. So what would you recommend me to do? Is it possible I could do like expedite his green card for a medical reason because of his ulcerative colitis?
No, that's not going to work. And right now there's nothing to expedite because you haven't filed anything.
Yeah, I'm saying like if I apply for a green card, like would
Yeah.
you recommend expediting or what would you recommend us to do?
So I don't know if you watch the show very much. I'm not a big believer in expediting. I think it's all BS. I think most of the time they don't expedite, and I don't think this would be a case that they would expedite on. I think they're going to give your. I think you guys made some real big mistakes. I think leaving the United States as a man from a predominantly Arab country married to someone who is 17, now 18, I think they're going to give him all kinds of hell at the embassy. And I think it's going to be very difficult for him to come back even after the process completes. Plus, we got Trump coming in, and now we've got, the Muslim ban probably coming. So I think there's a lot that's stacked against you guys, but nothing's going to happen fast.
Okay, well, the thing is with Trump, yeah, I did see that he was going to try to make it harder, but with Oman and Trump actually has like multiple investments in Oman, like multiple building investments and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
It wasn't one of the countries on the Muslim ban last time, so you might not necessarily have to worry about something. But what I'm telling you is that every embassy in a Middle Eastern, and I became Muslim 30 years ago, so
Oh, wow.
most of my clients are from the Middle East, right, and Arab men, so I deal with this all day long. What I'm telling you is that this process, even if Trump wasn't in office, that this process of bringing your husband back to the United States is going to take at least 2 years, if not longer.
Oh my God.
He's not coming back with you on that visit. On you can come, but he can't. It was a huge mistake to leave the United States after you got married without thinking everything through, because it's a lot easier to leave than it is to come back.
Well, okay, the thing is with that is when he was on his F1 student visa, when we got married, he came to Oman and took his mom with him on a tourist visa so she could be there for our wedding. And they accepted her within a week because someone in his family has like close ties or he's in the government and he was able to expedite her very quickly, like within a week to get her a visa.
Well, so then maybe he can help your husband, but the thing is, you got to be really, really careful with how you answer every single question, because he might end up waving a magic wand with a wonderful friend or relative in the government that helps him get his visa. But you need to make sure that nobody's saying that he's not married or he doesn't have immigrant intent or he's not coming to stay, right? So you really need to be, I mean, I think the chances of a regular person getting a visit visa to the United States on these facts are very low. If you're telling me he's got some magic connection that maybe makes it possible, then I'm like, okay, but be careful, because him getting that visit visa might actually be a problem later on down the line if somebody checks the wrong box.
Okay. So you're guessing like 2 years. You don't think it would like be anything lower than that? We're aiming for a year to a year and a half. That's what we're hoping to happen.
Here's what I'm thinking right now. It's taking 2 years, and Trump's only going to make that slower, not faster.
Okay. So is there anything you would just like recommend or what like advice would you give?
Yeah, get the I-130 on file and get started.
Okay. Anything you want to ask? Also, we also have joint like we have travel records proving, and we have marriage certificates from the U.S. and Oman like certified. So that would make the process easier. I don't know.
I would research too whether that marriage is valid.
Yeah, we got it notarized in Oman.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. The question is whether it was valid. Did your parents have to issue a consent notice?
Just my mom.
Okay, so it's probably valid.
Yeah.
All right, well, good luck. Keep us posted, Hannah.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Hello, Omar.
Hello, Jim. Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I can't complain. I'm living the life.
Nice, nice. Okay, so an adjustment of status case through marriage to a U.S. citizen. I had my interview in December 2021. I got the I-130 approved the same day of the interview, also, of course, the I-485. Then I received the card in the mail, and it was backdated, like 1 year backdated. We spoke about this before, maybe a year and a half ago or something. Anyway, you advised me to file for the I-90 to get that corrected. So I filed the I-90 in August of the same year. Oh, no, the following year, of 2022. And divorce took place in October. So I filed for the I-751 in December of 2022. And in May of 2024, I received a decision for the I-90. This was a denial decision saying that you should have filed for I-751, even though it had already been filed for a long time. And therefore, you're not eligible for green card anyway at the moment. And we don't, USCIS does not have any record of you filing this. So we're denying the I-90. Anyway, I uh, I received the 10-year green card in December of 2024 with no interview, and it's still backdated. It still says that the admission date is 1 year before the I-130 and I-485 were approved. So I don't know, should I file for another I-90 or what should I do now?
Isn't it ridiculous how incompetent they are?
It is.
It's ridiculous. So my wife just went back to Egypt. Longtime viewers of the show know that my mother-in-law passed away in January of 2020, and so the Egyptian government's been putting money in her bank account, even though she's dead, and even though we told her. So now Amani went to the records bureau in Cairo to tell them that her mother was dead and brought them the death certificate. And of course, they make you jump through all these hoops. And she's like, "Look, I'm trying to help you. Stop sending me money," right? So it's almost like
Yeah.
you're trying to get them to fix their own mistake, and they just won't do it.
Yeah, I know.
So what should have been the start date on your green card?
December 2021, because I got approved in December 2021 for both the I-130 and the I-485.
Okay, and so the green card you received was dated December 2020.
That's correct. And the conditional one and the 10-year one.
Right.
And I-90 didn't.
Let's put the I-90. Let's put the I-90 to the side for a minute.
Okay.
So, sometime before December of 2023, you had to file an I-751, right?
Yeah, I filed it in December 2022.
Because you were already divorced.
I was divorced and also going with the date on the card that they received. But yeah, because I was divorced, so that's
what I'm worried about. That's what I'm worried about.
Mm-hmm.
So, you filed for the good faith marriage exception that it was a real marriage, it just didn't last, and that you were divorced, and so therefore you could apply for your 751 early.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so that means if you really became a green card on December of 21, then you can apply for your citizenship in December of 26, right? Because you have to wait.
Correct. Yeah.
You have to wait the 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you can bang your head on the wall again if you want to try and get them to correct the green card, but I don't know, man. It might just be more hassle than it's worth. You could try it. They'll probably deny it again.
Really? But okay.
I think the thing is, I think the more you do now, the less they'll have to argue. Like, let's say that you hadn't filed, you hadn't been divorced, and they approved your 751. Let's say you had still stayed married, and you had applied 1 year early just because you went with the date that was on the green card. I could see them, when you become a citizen, reopen your 751, take away the approval and deny it, and then say you can't become a citizen because you filed your 751 too early. So I think there's an outside chance they might try to pull that on you now. But I think you have good arguments. And I also think the more effort you make to point out to them how stupid they are, the more ammunition you and I would have, if we need it, if they try to screw around with you at the time you become a citizen. Does that make sense?
All right. Yeah.
I think you're golden because your divorce was final and you filed a 751 solo, and those you can file at any time. Now, they're probably going to come up with some bullshit argument that when they gave you the 751, they thought you'd been married and a lawful permanent resident since 2020 because they're so dumb. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, I didn't have an interview because if I had an interview, I would have brought that to the officer at the interview and
Yeah.
got it sorted out.
Right.
But
Yep.
the I-751 was approved. I'm not complaining. I mean, it was approved to an interview, which was also good. But I didn't get to to go there because I tried calling them and everything, and just they don't know. Like they say, like, if you believe that there's something wrong, just file the I-90, which I already did, and
Yeah.
they
I think
didn't fix it.
if you file another I-90, you become very sympathetic to anyone trying to claim that you did anything wrong when you go ahead and
Yeah,
apply for citizenship.
I can just do it. Something else I noticed on the I-130, I don't know because I googled I-130s for other people like on the internet to see what the wording of it, and mine says something. It says a visa is not yet available for the beneficiary. Once a visa becomes available, the beneficiary can apply for adjustment of status. The priority date on this petition was physically received. I don't know. Anyway, it just says the visa is not. I didn't find this wording for my type of case, like of any of the I-130s that I saw online. So I don't know if that's normal.
Was your spouse a U.S. citizen?
Yes, of course, yeah.
Oh, well, they could have been a green card holder, and then the visa availability would be an issue. I wouldn't worry about that at all. That's nothing.
Okay, okay. But I should file for the citizenship in 2026, not this year. I shouldn't go by what's on the card.
No, that'd just be a waste of time.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Omar. See you, buddy. All right. Let's go to Shan. Shan, are you there?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi, go ahead.
Yeah, how you doing? So I have a question. What's going on is like I have to apply in February next year for my removal of green condition from my green card. And
Sure.
yeah, so I was trying to see if I will have a couple of questions like if for suppose uh, um, what are the necessary things that are most important to have? And the second question is like, what are the if it denies, what are the chances of, you know, what to do? Like as a lawyer, what to suggest? Like if it denies, what we can do, getting your help, like how?
Why are you worried that it might get denied?
I'm worried because my wife, she's always like, trying to threaten me with a lot of things. So
So
yeah.
that's when you asked me what's the most important thing. That is the first question I always ask people is how is the marriage?
Yeah, so the marriage is good, but I'm not saying like I have something like we have something, but it's like all the time, I don't know she have this problem or what from her previous marriage or
What do you mean
whatever
problem?
is.
What kind of problem?
Like she always, want to give hard time. She want to get a house. Well, I cannot make that much money. I told her to save. She don't save. She spend the money, and then I work a lot. So she just likes spending. It's another part. Like I can make money. She can spend it. It's okay. But there's a lot of things like she go to work. She upgraded her job. She got promotion. I got feeling she a lot of changing in her, so kind of
Okay. So thank you for the call. I get calls like this a lot when people are sort of close to the 751 stage. And what I always come back to is, do you feel comfortable going to bat with this person on your team? In other words, if you file the I-751 together, that case is going to be pending for 2 years or more, which means not only will at that point the marriage will be 4 years old, and if USCIS calls you and your spouse in for an interview, do you trust them to go the distance? Do you trust them to fight for your marriage? Do you trust them to fight for your 10-year green card? Right. And so sometimes you have to accelerate your thinking. You have to think way down the road. And if she's giving you grief now about sponsorship or about the 751, then I'd be worried about the long-term future of the relationship. You your conditions removed without your spouse, it's harder, but it is possible. So I don't want you to think you have to stay in the marriage just to get the 10-year green card. It's obviously easier if everything's good with the marriage, but if I were an immigrant and I were in a position where my spouse was constantly harping on me about my immigration status and saying, oh, I don't know if I'm going to go through with your 751 and all that stuff, I would think long and hard about, yeah, this is a good topic, Hina. Can you text me on that? I would think long and hard on whether I want to do this by myself, because you can.
So, but like I mean, we talk, then everything settled down, and then we good. But then suddenly, like in couple of months, she acting like the same thing again. I got a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression and stuff I'm going through. I swear, like I'm not a baby, but I cry
Yeah,
like a baby, and I'm
I can tell.
sometimes
I
I'm
can tell.
ashamed of myself. I'm ashamed of myself, like what I'm going through. I didn't marry this lady for this. And I like, I take care of everything. I pay everything. I don't, it's not about the money, but I don't know. All the birthdays, I am there to gift. I'm there to celebrate, to make her happy. The kids, she had two kids from the previous marriage. I take care of them. I pay everything for them. I love them, Jim. I can't be without them. When they are at their grandpa house, I just can't stay in the home. Like I just want them to be at the home. So I don't want to break my marriage. Like I have a lot of memories with them. I can't take it. I can't take it. Like I at the point I can't decide and sit with her and tell her, you know what, you doing this all the time. Let's end it up. It's not coming out of my mouth. So I'm just, worried about it. Like, what should I do?
Have you guys talked to a therapist, like done any counseling together?
I told her before that, and she said, "You want to go, you can go, but I don't want to go."
Well, well, okay. So I would take that invitation, and I think I think in the position you're in, I mean, I can hear how sad you are right now. So I would say there's value in you going to a therapist without her, right?
Yeah,
So
if I mean that's what I'm looking for. Like I go to the people gym, I sit with them. They don't have 5 minutes for me. I feel so lonely because when I go home, there's always something, and so I drive. So I take with it to the retired people to their appointments, and so how hard it is for me to drive. I can't work. I can't do nothing. And I was a PhD guy. And I paused my study to support this family because I wanted to have a family with her, and and she agreed on it. And I paused my studies for that. You know, it's my future. Like I was doing all my life working for that. And I don't know, but if you suggest me as a lawyer, as I have an appointment with you guys, already I called today and they says that they're gonna call me back
yeah,
because they're closed today. But
yeah,
if you suggest me that the therapist is gonna help me mentally, the most importantly, mentally, he can help me. Plus, this can help in my case. I
yep.
would most definitely go to one. I need it. I don't have parents, Jim. I don't nobody here. I'm just dying here. I feel like why I'm here even.
I'm very
I'm sorry.
sorry.
I'm
It's
very
okay.
sorry.
It's okay. It's totally okay. I've been in therapy most of my adult life. I'm not right now. I'm taking a little break, but I think therapy is very, very helpful for lots of different reasons. But I can hear how sad you are, and it seems like your spouse isn't very caring about it at the moment. So I would focus on the way I view it is I would be contracting. I would be relying on myself. I would be trying to find a therapist who's going to be my ally and look out for me and be there to listen to me and support me to help me make whatever decision. Maybe you decide to stay, maybe you decide to go. Right now, it feels like you're in a little bit of a trap And my best friend growing up, his dad was a psychiatrist, and he said the one place that's really hard for people is when they feel like they're in a box and they can't get out. And so what we need to do, Sean, is to find you some wiggle room. And I think a therapy and a little time away would be really helpful.
Yeah, I'll most definitely do it. I'm not working, you know. I used to make a lot of money and I don't have no saving because all my money goes with the family. And my parents grow me up so they can, you know, rely on me when they get older. And I just paused my PhD and fall in love and got married and I'm to a point where I can't even tell nobody, not even the immigration, that hey, listen, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry, I just made
Don't be
it.
sorry. Don't be sorry. And if you email that info at Hacking Immigration Law tonight, that'll be I'll check that in the morning. And I'll follow up with you myself. Okay. Don't be sad.
No,
Don't apologize at all. I mean, you can be sad. Don't feel like you have to apologize to me or anybody else. You're doing fine. And thank you for trusting me at least to tell me. I appreciate it.
yeah, and I will most definitely. I called them, and the receptionist, she told me that they're gonna call me back. And there's a lot of things like if I can have some time with you and tell you, it's
Yep.
not something you can't tell on the YouTube things, you know. There's
Yeah.
a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I keep ignoring because I didn't want to break this family. I'm
Yeah.
going through a lot.
Send that email tonight and I'll find you tomorrow and we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. So what's the email?
Info at hackingimmigrationlaw.com. It's right there at the bottom of the screen. Info at hackingimmigrationlaw.com. If you have a chance when you're done, that you're going to be the last caller of the day. Look at the comments because a lot of people are trying to support you. Okay.
Thank you so much. I really
You're
appreciate you guys. Thank you.
you're a good person.
Thank you.
There's Ryan. He was there yesterday. I think. Were you in the waiting room yesterday, Ryan? I was trying to get to you.
Yes, true. I have a quick question. I know though you're busy, I'm gonna just go straight forward. I did get my green card December 13, 2017, and I did apply for removal condition like 3 years ago. It got denied. It said in the deny that it wasn't enough, like sufficient documentations. I did refile again, and then it took long. I was listening to your shows and a lot of things like on YouTube and stuff. They said you might just, if you are eligible for N400, you might just file to speed up a little bit some stuff. I did that. I got my interview for citizenship yesterday, and then in the interview, she said I cannot do anything for the I-751. I'm sorry. A little before that, I got RFE letter 2 months ago. After I got the RFE, I received a citizenship interview within 4 weeks. And as I said yesterday, I was in the interview citizenship. It was good. She typed in the paperwork that you passed the civic and English test, but then under it, she marked on something called like there is no decision can be made. And I did send all the RFEs that I was preparing last 2 months. I just sent them yesterday, fast shipping to that Irving, I believe, Texas. This is where it came from, and I don't know. Usually they should make like 2 interviews in one. She said, "I
No,
don't care."
that's not true. That's not
No,
true. No. What? Why was your first 751 denied? That's ridiculous. No 751 should ever be denied.
they said that didn't get like enough sufficient or
And
whatever.
I'm asking you, why didn't you submit enough evidence?
No, I submit everything. I submit everything from like pictures and leases together, because she did divorce me after 2 years and a half after I received my first green card. So I
So
know
it was
that.
so it was an I-751 solo.
Yes, waiver.
Okay, you didn't mention that. You left that part out.
I'm sorry.
So when you got married to this person originally, were you out of status?
Yes,
Okay, and what country are you from?
Egypt.
Okay, so it sounds like they don't believe that your first marriage was valid.
So I did send the RFE, which is yesterday after the interview, because she said she's not gonna do anything like that.
Well, let's talk about that RFE. Did that also ask for more marital evidence?
Yes, like pictures with family and stuff like that, and I
So
did
so
submit.
now so now on two different 751s, they have let you know in writing that you don't have enough evidence to approve the I-751,
True.
right?
So
So
this will
why are you having such a hard time gathering marital evidence? Why isn't it? I mean, you were out of status at the time you married her. If they knocked on her door tomorrow, if they knocked on her door tomorrow and said, "Hey, tell me about your marriage to Ryan Austin," what would she say?
um was good, but then I did divorce him. I mean, she's the one, she divorced me actually without my knowledge in court, because of her background family.
But she divorced you because of her background family. What does that mean? That doesn't make sense.
That her family want her to be with someone else, like from that Hispanic family.
Okay. So how long was your marriage start to finish?
2.5 years.
Okay. So basically, well, did she file for divorce before you got your 2-year green card, or after you got your 2-year green card?
No, after I got it. I mean, she didn't know that I got it, but it was after that.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So she didn't know you got your green card. You didn't know that she filed for divorce. This does not sound like a strong marriage or a case that's going to be approved, a 751 that's going to be approved.
Oh no, all of that happened in 3 weeks when I moved from a city to city just to set up some stuff for work. I received it in the mail. She got her stuff and she left. And after that, I received someone knocking on the door just to sign it, and then I found the letter says
Well,
that.
that sounds like somebody who married you in order to get a green card and that you were paying her. That's what that sounds like. When somebody moves out and files for divorce the day after you get your green card, especially someone who was out of status and needed help with their immigration status when they first got married, I think you're in big trouble.
It sounded like that. It wasn't like that from the beginning. This is
Well,
what I.
but nobody believes you.
Even if there is like family, like pictures, family, she traveled to my family overseas.
Pictures mean very little. Pictures are a great way for people running a fake marriage to submit evidence. The circumstances of everything you've told me sounds like a fake marriage. You were out of status. You got married. As soon as you got your green card, she moved out. She filed for divorce without telling you. You got your green card without her knowing. It's all ridiculous. This whole thing's ridiculous.
So I,
They're not going to give you your citizenship. I think the chances of you becoming a US citizen are 1%.
and then if that happened again, I just like refile.
No, I mean, you can keep refiling, but eventually they're going to put you in removal.
Okay, so there's no. I mean, so in this case, like usually, what happened? Just that's it. I mean, it's done.
Usually what's going to happen is the 751 is going to be denied and the N400 is going to be denied because the 751 was denied.
Okay.
Good
And
luck, Ryan.
all right. Thank you. Bye bye.
See you, bud.
Thanks.
Well, there you have it, another edition of the Best of the Immigration Answer Show. Again, my name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration attorney practicing law throughout the United States, out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. If you want to get a hold of us at the firm, you can email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com, or you can call us at 314-961-8200. You also can join our free Facebook group. It's called Immigrant Home. We'd love to have you join us there. There's thousands of immigrants talking about the immigration process in there every single day. We also have our YouTube channel where you can subscribe to see all of our videos and to get alerted whenever we go live, whenever we're going to record another episode of the Immigration Answer Show. Maybe you could be a guest and ask us a question. Finally, if you're not following us on TikTok, we suggest you do at Immigration Hacking. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.